Hello everyone, it's Kay from Craft with Kay. How are you all doing? It's been a while, it is so hot, you can probably hear the fan going. It is hot, but it is summer. So I've been mostly hibernating, trying to hide away from all the heat as you do, but I thought I would do something a little bit different. So if I just adjust this a second. So I've made way more than these. These are so easy to make. I figured I would try and do some sort of tutorial. This will be my first ever crochet tutorial on my channel. This is just how I've done it. If I can find the original video I used for inspiration, I'll put that down in the description. I saw a video on Facebook. I've tweaked it here and there because I didn't quite like the outcome. But yeah, this is what I've currently got left. I've even tried to do some tentacle dangly bits, but most of them have got a little skirt of tentacles around them. So these are all made using the exact same amount of stitches, but these ones are a chunkier wool. This one was super chunky wool, and this is just a little thin one. So depending on the wool that you use, depends on how big it is. So if you use a chunky one, it's going to turn out like this. If you use a thinner one, it's going to turn out more like these little guys. So yeah, exactly the same amount of stitches, but I thought I would do one in this one and give this guy a little friend. So yeah, let me get set up here and I'll be back. Oh, and I thought I'd show you some other bits. I've been making tons of stuff, mostly little baskets. I've made the occasional bag. I've made a lot of these are actually on my Etsy store now. So these are little stress balls or juggling balls, whatever you like. I also have some with the same stuffing as this, which makes them very light. These ones have got some pellets in to give it a bit of weight, and I'm currently working on bigger, weightier ones. But yeah, so I got these. I got a book recently and I'm trying to make everything from the book. Easier said than done, but you know, I'm giving it a try. These I finished this morning. I've made one other one because I copied the video, and they're a lot bigger and puffier, but I kind of like it at this sort of height. But yeah, and this is my little basket. This is actually going to be my dice basket. I play D&D occasionally, and this is going to be my basket to roll my dice in. I might do a video on these as well. It's super easy to make. They're usually smaller than this, but I wanted somewhere to roll my dice. Good thing is, well, when you make it, it's somewhat square. I say somewhat because it's me making it, so it's supposed to be more square, but if you turn it inside, if you flip it and turn it inside out, it's much more circular. Don't know if it's coming up much on the camera, but it's more circular if you turn it that way. If you want your walls high, probably a firmer wall would have been better for this size, but yeah. But that's what I've been up to. I have not touched my current diamond painting in quite some time. That's Dreaming in Colour. I do want to go back to that, but I've just been hot and I don't want to sit at the table all the time. But off to the side. So I know next to nothing. This is just some wool from the Works, which is a store in the UK, and I've got my little pencil case of stuff. So on wool, it will always tell you what size hook or needle you need. So for example, this one is a 10. This one I think is a 6, or is this also a 10? Yeah, 6, 6.5. It's about 6. So I have got my little, I got this case off of Amazon. It came empty because I already had a bunch of hooks, and this is the one I wanted. Yeah. So I mostly use these ones because I like the grip, but for poking and prodding throughout an entire thing, one without the grip, it works out better. It's got 6. You are going to need yeah, let's go over everything you're going to need. So I'll just grab any old stitch marker, obviously scissors to trim. I've been doing a mix of with eyes and without any eyes. because some people it's safe not to have a choking hazard, and some I've been attempting to stitch eyes, which I need to work on. Look at this funky guy. This was probably my better one, because they work up so small on a thinner yarn. I've turned some of those into key rings. That one's got that sort of string. I'm slowly getting there with the. I'm just adapting each time I go. And you will need some stuffing, which I should have grabbed before I sat down. 1 second. Okay, so I always keep some in a little bag because I do this a lot when I'm on the bus. But it's just some stuffing. You can get it from anywhere really. I get this stuff from my local market, but you can also get it on Amazon and anything. It's just the regular toy stuffing. So you will need that. Like I say, whatever hook your wool requires, and a stitch marker. So put over to the side, and yeah. So there's 2 ways to start. If I remember, I'm going to keep a written doohickey over here. So that's all the steps that you kind of make. So there's 2 ways. Excuse me. There's 2 ways to start. So also I've got to get used to recording again. I've also never recorded this. So chances are I'm going to be off camera here and there by accident. I really don't mean to. Let me move my camera a little bit. I've got a little bit of a different setup because I'm not at my desk. I'm at my dinner table. My desk has a clamp arm on it and it's too tricky to get off. So this is just a tripod that I've got sitting right in front of me. So if the angles are a bit weird at times, it's literally because I'm trying to see past a pole. So let me just move you over just a smidge more maybe. But yeah. So there's 2 ways to start this. This is a really funky, what's this called? Chenille. So if you're using like a regular yarn, you can do the magic ring. I love starting with a magic circle, magic ring, whatever you want to call it. But because this does not pull very well, we have to do it the other way. So we want to, this is how I make a magic circle. Oh, might help if you can see. Again, this is where I'm going to be struggling a little bit. So this is how I make a magic ring, or in this case I want to take my fingers out. That's how I just start a loop. Oh yeah, I am left-handed, so this might be backwards to some people, but for my fellow lefties out there this should be helpful. So once you've got on there, you want to chain 2, so you wrap around and pull through and wrap around and pull through. So we're chaining 2. Now what we're going to do is put 8 single crochets into the first chain. Now this material is really hard to see through. It's quite tricky. So you're better off using something like this for your first one because it's easier. Or for me it's easier. Obviously everything's down to personal preference and your eyesight. But even something like this is going to be easier to tell where your chains are and your holes. So personally, when it's like this for me, I just wing it. So you're supposed to put it in the first chain. 8 single crochets. And I do that as best as I can. But I am not perfect over here. So just getting that first one is the tricky bit. So you want to do 8 single crochets. So you poke through the hole, hook it round, pull it through. So you've got 2 on your thing, wrap around, pull through 2. A full crochet is basically pulling through 2 is what I've worked out. So we want to do 8 of those in the same hole. So let's see. Let's see if I've been doing them in the same hole as well. I'm going to do a couple. Because I'm talking, there's no way I'm counting and keeping track in my head. So I'm just going to do a bunch and then count. So how's everybody doing? Is everyone also suffering with this heat? It is not good. At least the humidity isn't as high as the other way, but it's still so freaking hot. And in the UK, we don't really have this thing called aircon unless you're in a supermarket. So, yeah. Okay, so to count, if you don't know, these little bumps or V's. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in theory, I only need 2 more. But that's only if I've done it all in the same hole. Like I say, with this material, I kind of wing it a bit because it is tricky and sometimes it doesn't want to come out like that. Let's try again. And so again, poking it through, wrapping it around, pulling it through. It didn't pull through, so go in, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to do one more. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if I count that one. I keep doing it until I've got an obvious 8. You'll get there. Sometimes it's putting in way more than 8, but you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So once you're happy you've got 8 single crochets, you want to slip stitch. This is all worked as a continuous round, a continuous spiral. So there's no some people do cut them off, but I don't. I just work as a continuous. Or do I? Let me think about this, because I'm getting it mixed up, because these are worked as a continuous. Let me think. I will talk as I figure it out. I should have put my notes with me. But if you can't get through both loops in the first round, don't worry about it, just go through the first loop. You want to slip stitch. No, this one you do want to do rounds, sorry. I would edit this out, but I'm human and sod it. Slip stitch, chain 1, and then you want to put your first single crochet in where you started. And then this is where we're going to use our stitch marker. So we're going to put our first stitch marker in our first stitch that we just did. This helps us find our starting point. And then we're going to do another single crochet in that same hole. Because we're going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch. So instead of having 8 around, we will have 16 once we've gone all the way around. So you want to put 2 single crochets in each loop. As a reminder, you go in the hole, wrap around and pull through, wrap around, pull through 2. And we're going to do that all the way around. 2 of those into each and every stitch. I've made so many of these. I've made enough for my daughter's class, for all her fellow students and her teachers. And I made some for the office because they said that they liked them, so yeah. These are quite easy and quick to work up. And again, depending on the size yarn you're using, it will determine how big or how small they are. Because it's the same exact number of stitches in every single one, regardless of size. So we're nearly there. Now let's have a quick count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I need 2 more. Again, this wool is not the easiest to count. 1 and 2. Sometimes it needs a bit of force and a bit of a wiggle. Right, so now we're going to remove our stitch marker and slip stitch into that first stitch and pull through, and then we're going to chain 1 and put 1 single crochet into the next. Ideally you need to be going through both loops now. Should be able to a lot easier now as well. We're going to put our first stitch marker in to mark where we started. So for this round we want to do 7 single crochets, 2 crochets in 1 loop, and then another 7, and then a 2. So including the one that we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in the next one we want to put 2 single crochets in this loop. So 1 and 2. So if you've counted correctly, you should now do another 7, and then in the last one put 2 in again. This is me, so I don't always count, so I just go single crochet until I hit the last one and chuck 2 in there, whatever that number may be. I am not a perfectionist with this. Well, I do my best, but we are only human. And numbers are not my forte. Now, do I like knowing there should be a certain number of stitches in each round? Yes, sometimes. Especially when it's something new. But I've made so many of these now and they don't always go to plan. But you know, so it's fine. It's okay. It also gives them all a bit more character. Because, you know, why not? Alright, so I've got one more, last one coming up now. So I'm going to put 2 in my last one. 1 and 2. And then in theory you should have, if my maths correct, 20 all the way around. So now we're going to slip stitch to that first one again. So a slip stitch, because I realize I haven't been showing you. You just put your hook in, go around, and just pull through and pull through. No wrapping around or anything like that. We're going to chain 1 and do a single crochet and put our stitch marker in again to again show us where we started. Now you're going to like this one. It's just single crochet all the way around. So this entire row is single crochet. La 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 la. What's everyone's tricks to keeping cooler this time of year? Earlier this week I put a cold wet flannel in the freezer, left it in there for 10 minutes and wore it on my head like a hat. Can't really be seen doing that outside, I don't imagine, but inside the privacy of my own flat, I did exactly that. What else do people suggest? So I've currently shown 2 people how to do these in person because I go to a Hug and Shrug group, which is a knitting and crochet group. And they was able to do it pretty easily. Their first ones, they haven't quite got the tension right. I know nothing about tension really. I just know that whenever I pull through, I automatically just kind of give it a little tug, and I don't wrap my wool around anyway, I just keep it between my fingers. So I know some people say wound and this, that and the other, and that confuses me, so I just keep it between my fingers there. So yes. Right, remove and insert, and this is going to be another slip stitch, chain 1, single crochet in the next loop, and put your stitch marker in, and have a quick slurp. I do have coffee because I need the caffeine, but I also have a cold juice as well. Right, this round, again, single crochet all the way around. So 1 crochet in every stitch all the way around again. So as this is my first crochet video, I have no idea if I'll do more or not, but what pointers would you give me down in the comments? What do you want to see? Because once I've told you what to do, I kind of just want to cut the middle bit out and get to the end, but I know some people will prefer the whole thing, so I don't know. For me, when when I watch videos on how to, I get impatient, so I just kind of read what's on the screen or watch the first bit and then pause the video and do that whole thing and then fast forward the video to the next step. So everyone's different, so I don't know. I'm guessing you don't want me to, I don't know if people want me to at least fast forward these bits so you can still see but it's sped up with some music over it, or do you want it like this with some music over it without me yabbering? I don't know. I ain't got a Scooby. This is a whole new ball game for me. So, and again, once we get to the end, take out stitch marker, slip stitch. So you go in, wrap round, and pull through both loops. Chain 1. So that gives you your height, I believe. And we're just going to put that in our first stitch again, she says. Again, Chanel, it's very tricky. The first time I worked with it, I ended up putting it away and working on a different yarn. It's only because I've made so many of these now that I've kind of, yeah. So I typically put in another round just to give it a bit of body. But with the really thick one, with the really super thick ones, so here's like a difference. For example, this one's got an extra round in its body, this one does not. This one only has 2 rounds, this one has 3. With the chunkier ones, I think you can get away with just doing the 2 rounds. I think both of these have got 3 rounds. Yeah, these have both got 3 rounds of the same single crochet around. But I think when they're bigger, you might not need to worry about that. I will leave that to your discretion. Once you've made lots of these, you can kind of play it by ear. But yes, I don't know. So what I'm going to do, because this is only a little guy, I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to do single crochet all the way around again. If you choose to do so, go for it. If not, I suppose you can skip ahead or hit fast forward or whatever, because the next round is where things are going to change. Next, I think in the original video I watched, It was only 2 rounds, but I liked it being a little bit bigger. So, you know, size. And I also changed the tentacle skirt. Well, I'm calling it a tentacle skirt because it kind of does look like a little tentacle skirt. So I changed a couple of bits with that as well. So just keep going around. So I've not even been crocheting for a whole year yet, and I've got 2 massive tubs full of wool. My daughter is obsessed with getting the wool out and literally lining all of it up. I'm sure I have a photo or 2. If I remember, I will chuck a photo up now. If I did not, then I'm sorry, but it means I forgot to do that whilst editing. Alright, so as we get down to the end, one more. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do what we do. Take it out, take the stitch marker out, put in a little slippy stitch, and chain 1, single crochet, and put the marker in. Okay, so similar to what we've done before, this time we're going to do 7 single crochets, and then we're gonna what do they call, decrease, that's the word I'm looking for, decrease, and I'll show you how to do that. So for now we want 7 in total, so we've already done 1, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So to decrease, we're going to go into 1 like we would normally, but instead of pulling anything, we want to come back in the next loop next to it. It kind of makes that little V. So to show you again, we're going to go in the next, come back through the one after that, then we're going to loop around, pull through, loop around, pull through 2 as a single crochet, and that just basically tucks those 2 into 1. And then we're going to do it, if you've been counting correctly, you should have 7 and then go through 2, or if you don't bother counting after that bit, because I rarely count the next 7, you just do that until you have 2 loops left, and then you join those again, and I will show you that again when I get down there. This is how we start closing it off and decreasing the thing. So let's see how many we've got left. I'll do 1 more. Okay, so again we're going to go in the next one and come back through the next, so you've got like a sort of V, wrap round, pull through 2, pull through both those stitches, wrap around and pull through 2, and then we're going to take the marker out, we're going to slip stitch and just leave it on your loop, and I'm just going to put that through the loop so it doesn't fall out. So see, we've got our little octopus head. So what do we do with all this stuff and whatnot? We turn it inside out, and then all your beautiful stitches will be the right side out. Next up, if you have any fake eyes that you need to put in, now's the time to do it. I'm going to double check my notes. Don't know why I said notes like that. I got this book, again this one came from the works, and basically every pattern that I like the look of and that I've done at least somewhat successfully, I put in here. Like my hacky sack thing. So I make a lot of notes, my little basket. Feel free to pause if you want to try and make sense of my notes. Here's my little octopus guy. See how I've like tweaked it over time and stuff. So if you have got any fake eyes, you will want to put this between rows 5 and 6 if you've done the extra one, or through 4 and 5 if you did not do the extra layer. That should be somewhat in the middle there, and I would space them about 4 stitches apart. Now the reason why I've stopped doing as many of the fake eyes as I have is because you either can't really control where they go, and when it's finished, if you'd prefer it was on this side, well, it's too late, they're in there now. But also some people can't have fastenings, choking hazard if it's for a kid or a dog or anything like that. So that's why I've made a stop on that. I'll still occasionally use them because I've got the eyes, I might as well use them. But here is also where we get our stuffing and we stuff it. So make sure your the yarn that you're working on already is out, the tail from the start is in, and just poke it through. Just poke it all in. Now it's up to you on how much stuffing you want to put in. I give it a good wiggle in there as well. Probably put just a smidge more in. But this is down to you and how much stuffing you want in yours. So yeah, I'm going to have another quick slurp while you're stuffing your octopi. Drunk. Nice. Okay. Now, this one is going to take a bit of getting used to. It tripped me up at first, but I'm kind of used to it now. Actually, no, keep your stitch marker in. It's fine. So I'm going to pull that through a little bit. Again, you know, it's not the easiest to work with. Okay. So we've got our hook in. Now, so when you're looking at your project, you've got your front loops and your back loops. We want to be going through back loops only, because then we use the front loops for the tentacles. So back loops only. Like what we did before with decreasing, back loop only. We're going to go through. She says we're going to go through. Might take a wiggle. Again, not the easiest material to work with. I don't know why I chose to do this to myself. There we go. So in one bit and come through the back loop only of the stitch next to it. I'm far from perfect. I only want the back loop, and this material, because I'm being watched, is not being pretty with me. There you are. Wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through too. And we're going to do this all the way around. So remember, back loop only, not the front loop, back loop. So we're basically combining all the stitches. So in and come back on yourself, wrap around and pull through, wrap around, pull through too. So this can be tricky. Like I say, I don't know why I chose. I say it might be lovely and soft, but it is not the easiest material to work with. I'm just occasionally glancing at the camera to make sure I'm actually still in frame. You know, so I'm not going to edit the time down either. I usually speed up through stuff, but I might just let it all. I might put some background music on though with this video. There we go. do. There we go. As you can see, we're getting close to the end. Might just take a bit of wiggling to get it through. There we go, we're near the end now, so I'm going to take out my marker. See how much it's closed up already? So I'm going to now go through the whole thing. So not front loop or back loop or whatever, I'm going to go through the whole and decrease that way. The reason we only used the back loops before was purely for guidance on our tentacles. And basically you want to keep, or just doing some slip stitches however you can. Like I think I'd move on to slip stitches now until the hole is closed. I've got to do one more. There we go. So keep going until you're happy that you've got your octopus closed. Now I know this is hard for you probably to see, but there's a line around the base now. That's all the front loops sticking out. So before I start, so in the original video you fasten this off and start. I hate taking my hook on and off, so I don't want to bother with that. But if you wanted to give your octopus a different coloured tentacle, now would be the time to fasten off to then start. So the way I do my tentacles is I find my first loop, my first front loop basically, and get it through, and I do a slip stitch. And then in the next loop we're going to put 3 stitches in one loop. We're going to do a double crochet, a treble crochet and a double crochet, followed by a slip stitch, and we follow that pattern all the way around. This is what gives them their little feet. So a double crochet is, because we haven't done one yet in this video, wrap around, find your loop. Again, this material is tricky to use, but find your loop wherever that is. There it is. Oh, come here, wrap around, go through. Okay, now you wrap around again, pull under. So you got 3 loops on your thing. Wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2. That is a double. A triple, which is what we're going to do next. Triple or treble. Wrap around not once, but twice. Go through the same loop again. Wrap around, pull that through. So you've now got 4 on your hook. Wrap around, pull through 2. Triple I always struggle a bit, so I always have to do one manually. Then wrap around, pull through 2. Wrap around, pull through 2. And then we're going to do a double. So wrap around just the once, go in the same hole, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2. Wrap around, pull through 2. In the next loop we are going to slip stitch, so figure out where your next bit is, however that looks for you. I'm going to slip stitch, so we're just going to wrap around and pull through both loops, and that is your first little tootsie or tentacle. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So a double, So wrap around once, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2. Then we're going to do a triple, so wrap around twice, go through the same loop, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2. Do a double, wrap around once, go through the same loop, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next loop. And that's another one done. Sorry about that with the camera. So see what I mean like earlier when I said with the single crochet. As soon as you've pulled through 2, that's a full crochet. So a single is going through 2 loops, pull through 2 once. A double is pulling through 2 loops twice. And a triple is going through 2 loops 3 times. Don't know if that makes sense or helps in any way, but it makes sense in my noggin. So in the next loop, we're going to do a double. And then triple. All in the same loop. And a double. And then a slip stitch. So now if you wanted to get lazy, you could always skip a loop and work on the next one, but it will give you less tentacles and it doesn't seem as full, but it is also an option that you can do. I'm just pointing out because I've done that here and there, and then I regret that I did it. I think it looks better with a full set. So do double and we do a treble, followed by another double, then a slip stitch, and we start it all again. Don't know where I'm going with that. There we go. But I've made so many of these. It's kind of crazy. Like before, I'll show you in a minute. But oftentimes when I am following my own directions, I use a bit of paper and a paper clip, and I use my paper clip to mark on the side of the paper where I'm at. But these days I don't worry about that now. I might have done an extra thing there. Who knows? That's the thing, when you're talking, it's harder to concentrate. And that's a slip. There we go. Then once it's completed, that's when you can either give it some eyes, so stitch some eyes in, which I'm working on, but I don't feel like I'm particularly good at that yet. But practice makes perfect and all that jazz. Or just leave it as it is. There we go. Get through there. See, now's the time I feel like I would be fast forwarding through. Because we've all got the pattern, we know what we're doing, I hope. Let's go through there. We're nearly there. Come on, we can do this. We can do it too, it can do. If anyone knows that advert, that's from donkeys. All my advert knowledge is from donkeys. Not literal donkeys, but from a while ago. If you don't know that phrase. There we go. hoping I've been on the screen most of the time. That is my hope. I do occasionally glance up at the monitor. Say monitor, it's my phone. On a little stick. And slip stitch. And then this is going to be my last set, I think. So where am I going to go? Let's go here. Sometimes there's not an obvious loop to go in, so just whack it in wherever you think is kind of best. Oh, I hate when I do that. And you go through it and you don't pull anything through. It's like, god damn it. Alright. Triple. And one more double. And then I'm going to slip stitch around here. No, that's too far. And then we're going to fasten it off, so pull through a bit. Right, skizzers, we need skizzers. Right, this is the tail part that's connected to the string. And then just pull through the rest of the loop. Now what I sometimes do here, because there's a bit of a gap, is I like to get my hook, go through the first tentacle we made, wrap it around and pull that through, just so they're a bit joined. And then what do you do with this? You can sew it in, or what you could do is just randomly stab it in the head. Got all the technical terms. Wrap it around and pull it through. Take a bit of wiggling because you know you've got to get through all the stuffing. And then I'm gonna just use my hook and poke that through. Like, you could just pull it all the way through and chop it off, but it's extra stuffing because then when you scrunch it up a bit, see, there's no hole. I've still got a little bit picking out, so I'm just going to use again my hook to poke that through. There you go, you should have, look, it kind of looks like a heart there. But yeah, you've got an octopus. Congratulations, you have got an octopus. So now if you wanted to add eyes, you could. But yeah, there you go. Your own little octopus. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, I'm looking for feedback as well, because I've never done this on my channel, ever. Now, I'm still planning on diamond painting. I just haven't done it in a while. But the plan is to still diamond paint. But yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Embrace the love, guys. Bye!